Hi, today I'm making a cranberry loaf and it's going to be good for protein sparing or keto. I'm Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, where I share keto and carnivore recipes and other cooking ideas. If you're new here, welcome. Please check out some of my other videos and consider hitting that subscribe button. For all my returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back. Okay, so today we're making a cranberry loaf. I'm actually going to make a cranberry loaf as well as I'm going to attempt some sort of strudel. Because I'm going to make a double batch. So, hello, I have to interject here. All through this video, I was thinking streusel, envisioning it in my mind, and I said strudel, at least, I don't know, 100 times. Thanks, Teddy, thanks for the vote of confidence. You guys who are of German descent will know that a strudel and streusel are two completely different things. Every time I say strudel, just think streusel. Sorry about that. Just to tell you how this came about, yesterday I made a sous vide turkey breast, and that video I will post the link to on this one, so that you can see that. While I was making the turkey breast, I was thinking, wouldn't it be great to have cranberry sauce? Wouldn't it be great to have a loaf of Italian bread to make a turkey sandwich with cranberry sauce? So I made both things while I was waiting, and then I got the idea to make a cranberry loaf. This all happened while I was waiting for that 8-hour window on the sous vide. So the bread turned out fantastic. In fact, it was made yesterday, one smallish loaf. This is 8-inch by 4-inch, I believe. And it's gone. It was gone within the day. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna make another one. And I'm also gonna try a cranberry strudel today. So in order to make the loaf, the first thing, of course, you need is cranberries. I make cranberry sauce from scratch every year for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. And so our Thanksgiving kind of got canceled this year. And so I had fresh frozen cranberries in my freezer, and that's what I made use of. So I made a fresh batch of sauce this morning. I'm going to link you to the recipe card from my website that has the ingredients and instructions. But basically what's in here is 2 cups of fresh frozen cranberries, 1 cup water, and a 1/2 cup of allulose. Allulose is the best sweetener to use because it's the one that won't crystallize when this cranberry sauce cools down in the fridge. A lot of the sweeteners then turn into this hard, crystally stuff. Hi, Teddy. Are you trying to join in? Would you like to have something chewy to chew on while I finish talking? Let me see what I have here. Oh, here they are. A piece of chicken jerky treat. There you go. There. Okay. No, you gotta take it. You gotta take it. That recipe made exactly 1 1/3 cup sauce. So I'm just giving those measurements so that I know how to calculate the macros when I'm finished all this today. So I'm going to use protein sparing bread. This is I'm just going to use a basic protein sparing loaf adapted from Maria Emmerich's original recipe. I'm using allulose in here, 4 tablespoons today. Usually I use 2 just to get the browning effect, but I want to have, if it does provide a little bit of sweetness, and because I wouldn't call this a sweet loaf, it's more like a semi-sweet loaf. You can go sweeter if you want. So my plan is I'm going to add 4 tablespoons allulose. This is not very sweet either, but it's not super tart, so it's also semi-sweet. You can always add something on top of it. On top of the strudel cake, I will probably add a little bit of sweetener and some plain thin icing, just to make it look nice and give it a little extra sweetness. So I'm going to get started with the bread. I'm going to put a teaspoon of, oh, that's salt. I'm going to put a teaspoon, I'm glad I didn't add a teaspoon of that, cream of tartar, and get that going in a couple minutes. This is 1.5 cups of egg white from a carton. So I'm just going to throw this in. Oh, and I also need to preheat my oven to 325. It's going to go in for 30 minutes. Okay, in my bowl of ingredients, I'm going to add some egg white powder. I usually add 2/3 of a cup. I have been lately substituting, I've been experimenting with taking out some of the egg powder and substituting another powder. I did an experiment with peanut flour. That worked okay, and I like this. This bone broth works like a flour. So I'm going to add my 2/3 of a cup, but I'm going to remove 2 tablespoons because it's too hard for my brain to figure out how many tablespoons is in 1/3 of a cup. So I'm just gonna take 2 out. That's easier. So it's 2/3 of a cup minus 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to substitute 2 tablespoons of this Organica bone broth powder, which I believe is a Canadian product. I'm not 100% sure. I really like it seems to be less dry. And I don't know if that's just because I'm taking out a little bit of egg powder. The egg powder can be dry. Okay, so now for my salt. This is Redmond's real salt, the fine grind. I like to use that for baking. I'm going to put in 1/2 teaspoon. I've got some nutritional yeast here. I like to put in a whole tablespoon. I kind of like the yeasty flavor that it gives, so whole tablespoon going in. Active dry yeast, 1/2 teaspoon. Xanthan gum, 1/2 teaspoon. And allulose. Like I said, I'm using a little more allulose than normal just because I want to have that little bit of extra sweetness, although it doesn't provide a whole lot of sweetness. It is less sweet than, Swerve. You can certainly use Swerve for this recipe. So I'm going with 4 tablespoons, and I'm just going to stir it up and combine it. So I'm going to get this going, and I'll add these dry ingredients in when we're done. So I'll see you in this takes 7 or 8 minutes. Okay, that looks good. So I am going to make a little well in the middle here. Get less poofing. And then we'll go back, put it back down and just do a bit of a stir. And then I'm just going to speed it up for a few seconds. Okay.
Oops. Oh, that's a slippery thing today.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna wash my hands. Oh man. Okay, I am going to just kind of scrape the sides to incorporate anything that kind of stuck to the sides. We're just gently folding to make sure it's well incorporated. Oh, the oven is ready. So, what I'm going to do is I think about 1/3 of a cup is what I will use for the loaf. Just getting that ready. And I'm going to do this kind of, you know, in a bit of a layer situation. I'll just put a layer at the bottom of the loaf. All right, so I have this pretty much half full. And I'm going to put some of this, about half of this in. And I kind of want it to be swirled in instead of an actual layer, because it's pretty chunky, this cranberry sauce. It's not like the gelled stuff that you buy at the store. And please don't use a can of cranberry sauce for this, because those are loaded with sugar. All right, and now we're going to put in a little bit more. Now you can go ahead and use more cranberries than I have. I'm trying to get a savory cranberry loaf, not too sweet. In here I'm going to do a little bit more, but this is a bread that I don't know, I don't think it's a German thing or not, but we always used to eat these breads that just, instead of having, like, it was savory, but instead of having raisins and cinnamon and stuff like that, it had cranberries, but just lightly. It tastes really good with a turkey sandwich. They go very well together. Okay, so that's enough for that. And now I'm just going to use up the rest of this 1/3 of a cup that I have. And again, I'm going to kind of incorporate it into the bread. I guess you would call it a cranberry bread as opposed to a cranberry loaf, which implies sweetness, I think. Okay, so that's that. I'm just going to put that aside. Oh, and I'm going to just put a little tiny line. This helps the bread not kind of fall over, although sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, so the rest of the batter is going to go in here. I just love cranberries. They are pretty good with carbs. A whole cup of fresh cranberries is 6 total carbs, and then there's a couple fiber. So a whole cup is about 4 net carbs. So they will, I mean, this will still fit into protein sparing, but it will add some carbs. Oh yeah, I'm gonna measure so that I can do the macros properly. Otherwise I'm just guessing. I might put more in, but I'm going to start with 1/3 of a cup. So this I'm just kind of guessing at this because this is an experiment. It may or may not work out well. I want to make a strudel topping for this, which involves butter. So this one might not work for your protein sparing day, but we'll see what the macros are. Sometimes my fat is so low on a protein sparing day that I have to add butter. So it'll be interesting to see. So I'm just kind of swirling this in so that the cranberries are down there a bit. And I am going to quickly just get some butter. All right, I'm gonna go with 2 tablespoons butter, and I'm going to mix in some brown sugar swerve. Not swerve, sorry. I gotta change the label on my container here. I used to have swerve in here, but I've been using Besti because I love the texture of it. All right, so I have 2 tablespoons butter, and let's try 1/4 cup of the Besti. I think that should work. So all I'm doing is just, mixing the butter with the brown sugar. You can use Swerve if you want. You can use Lakanto as well. They will all work with this. Okay, I am going to add, what can I add to, I don't want to add any more brown sugar. I'm going to add some Swerve, or actually, no, I don't have any Swerve granulated. I'm going to add some of the monkfruit, just the regular Lakanto monkfruit. I should probably just add a couple of tablespoons at a time until I get the consistency I want. Let's see how that goes. I've added 2 more tablespoons. Okay, it's still not quite crumbly enough. Yeah, I'm gonna add two more tablespoons. And then I'm gonna go with it no matter what. This is, after all, an experiment. I really, there's a time I would have added some almond flour or some coconut flour, but I really don't like using those anymore. I get cramps from them. Okay, so I am just going to just kind of sprinkle these on top. I'm not even sure if I need all this. Let's see how it goes, because I am also going to put a little bit of icing on it after it comes out. I do want to get this in the oven because I can see it's already softening up a bit. So I've used about half of the mixture I made. Okay, so these are going into the oven. Okay, we will be back when that comes out of the oven. I've set it for 25 minutes to check it. It should take 25 to 30 minutes. So we'll see you back here in the next segment. Okay, I'm taking it out now. We got the cake. And here's the loaf. So this ended up cooking for 30 minutes, both of them, and at 325. And then I let it rest in the oven for 10 minutes. So they are both too hot. Looks like all my brown sugar butter melted, which I should have expected, I guess. So I don't know how that one is going to turn out. I am going to get together what I need to make the icing for that. And we'll see you back in the next segment when these are cool and we're ready to ice the cake. Okay, so this has had about 10 minutes to cool down, and I'm just moving the cake away from the sides here. It's looking like it's coming free nicely. My crumb topping melted right into the cake, which might be good. You know, sometimes a failed experiment turns out good for other reasons. So let's look at the bread. Oh yeah, there we go. It's coming away from the sides. I don't spray my pans. They don't seem to need it, which is nice. Oh, I should just qualify. I do spray the mesh pans and the ones with the little holes at the bottom. Those need spraying. But the loaf pans and the cake pans generally do not. So I think, okay, so these are gonna come out nice and easy. But first I want to make some icing for this. And I'm going to use Swerve, the icing sugar version. I think I'm going to put in, let's see, maybe 4 tablespoons, a quarter cup. We'll start with a quarter cup, which is 4 tablespoons. That might be exactly what I have in here. Yeah, that looks like a tablespoon. Maybe a tablespoon and a smidge. Okay. I'm going to, now you can do, you can put water in here and make a thin icing. You can put, I'm going to put cream because I've already put butter in, so I'm probably not going to have this on a protein sparing day. So I'm going to go with cream, putting in 1 tablespoon. Let's see what we get here. You can also use egg white. Egg white is good. Pasteurized egg white is good because it gives a little extra protein without adding fat if you're wanting to have this on a protein sparing day. So it looks like so far I've got 2 tablespoons of the cream, 4 tablespoons of the icing sugar Swerve. And actually with the cranberries, I think it would be nice to have just a little zing of lemon. I'm going to use my lemon Flavorall. These are basically stevia drops with lemon. So I'm going to try 4 drops. I just want a little taste of lemon. 2 more drops. Just want it to be syrup consistency. Okay. I'm going to just stick this in the fridge. Let that topping, it'll harden up just a little bit. While I'm waiting, we'll cut the bread. This came out as good as the one yesterday. It's still a little warm, but it should be okay, huh? I'm gonna turn it on its side to cut it. Okay, so you can see it's just got a little swirl of the cranberry in there. I'm not going to cut any more because it's still warm, but I'm going to give it a little taste here. Okay, so I'm going to give you just a close-up of the texture. It's nice and soft. I really like it. Okay, so I'm going to give it a try. It's really good. You're getting the bread and just a little burst of the cranberry, which is not. I didn't make it sweet. I made it. I did use the allulose, but it only brings it to sort of a tart, semi-sweet, not even semi-sweet really. By all means, you can sweeten it up more, but my goal with the bread is to make turkey sandwiches with it, because I just love cranberry bread, cranberry loaf. I don't know if it's a loaf or a bread, but cranberry bread with turkey is one of my favorite things. So I am going to have this for that. And I'll bring out the other one now. Let's move this aside. Let's see what that other one tastes like. It's still a little gooey on top, but I think that should be okay. Yeah, I probably should have let this one stay a bit longer. I'll put it back in the fridge, but I'm going to take one piece out. So I will give macros for 9 servings, because that looks about right. Let's see if I can get this out. Oh, I left a little of the bottom behind. All right, let's see what we have here. So let's get rid of that. So it's kind of similar to something my mom would have made. Kind of a yeasty cake bottom with fruit on top and some icing. hoping it tastes as good as what she used to make. Oh, I have to say I love that burst of flavor that cranberries give. So I would say this is a success. I kind of like it. I don't know what I would do different. I think I might, maybe instead, I used 1/3 of a cup of the cranberry sauce. Maybe I'd bump it up to 1/2 a cup. But other than that, and I don't know about the topping. I'd have to think about the topping of what I could do to make that better. But it's almost like the bread pudding, you know, like the French toast casserole bread pudding that I posted earlier, where it had, you know, butter, cinnamon topping. I didn't put any cinnamon on, but the cinnamon might be good. But I do love the cranberry in there. That is the best. I am going to take another bite. Yep, I would definitely make this again. Cranberries, like I said, they're very keto friendly, and I tried to minimize the use of them because of this being for protein sparing. This is the right amount for this. With this being keto, I would definitely add more cranberries to this one and have it on a keto day. So I hope you enjoy. This might be a nice little cake to make for your Thanksgiving coming up or around Christmas. Cranberries are pretty plentiful right now. We have them growing right in our neighborhood here. There's cranberry bogs, so I have an unlimited supply. So I hope you enjoy it, and we will see you next time.
He is standing right behind me.
He's ready to bark.
He is ready to bark.
Ready for barking.
He probably will,